confines of my computer. My name's Finn, and if you've been watching this channel for longer than 3 days, you know that I love Spider-Man. The soundtrack playing currently in the background of this video is the soundtrack for the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 video game. The bed that I'm sitting on, covered in Spider-Man stuff. Those plushies, Spider-Man. The wall, Spider-Man. Those pillows, Spider-Man. The blanket I'm currently sitting on, I got at the brand new day screening that I saw. And this past week, Spider-Man Brand New Day came out. A film that's sort of been in production hell for a while. Not as bad as some films starring the webhead. But it's been in production for a hot minute, and it finally came out, and I was quite excited but cautiously optimistic going in. And I did not leave with that same feeling. So, this is the big spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. For Brand New Day. Because I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to leave if you haven't seen it. Or if you would like to see it, you know, go do that, because I'm spoiling it. Because I'm going to talk about it. Okay, it's been long enough. So, to begin, the movie is beautiful. When it comes to the visuals of the movie, it is so good. The color usage is really good, whether it be the suit or the colors used for certain abilities that are used by Jean or by Peter, whether it be Peter's costume or the background characters, what they're wearing, or Jean DeWolf and what she's wearing, or the Scorpion, or with Jean, or with Damage Control or the Hand. The use of color in this movie is tremendous. I think the best use of color in the movie is Peter's suit, which is, it has very quickly grown on me. Here, I'll pick the blanket up again. This suit is so pretty. This suit looks so good. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. This suit looks so good. It looks like it's not from a movie. It looks like it's from a cartoon, which is a very good thing for Spider-Man, because he's a very silly, cartoony character. But yeah, I think that's the best use of the color. It's just how, vibrant and comic booky his suit is, with kind of the best aspects of each suit. The best part of the Tom Holland suits up until this point have been, the lenses on them have just been beautiful. Just the moving mechanical lenses have looked so good, along with some of the best parts of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suits, the best parts of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suits, and some new parts to itself, specifically with its web shooters. Just tremendous suit. Very, very good. The use of color in the movie is good pretty much everywhere. Another visual thing is the camera work. The cinematography of the movie is some of the best I've seen in movies, period. Much less a comic book movie. The only comic book movie that I would argue has better cinematography that isn't animated is Doctor Strange. Because I think the cinematography in those two movies are tremendous, because they're so out of the box and so weird. But the cinematography throughout is so good, whether it be with the opening, with the montage, or with Peter swinging throughout the film, or during the Hulk fight at Damage Control. There's a scene where Hulk's charging at Peter, and Peter's climbing the wall to get out of the way and everything, and instead of just staying stagnant and stuck in place as Peter climbs, the camera rotates as Hulk bashes through this hallway, and it's one of the most enjoyable watchings I've had of anything superhero related ever. It's so good. It felt like a reinvention of the scene from the first Avengers movie when Hulk is charging at Black Widow and then he gets cut off by Thor. just tremendous cinematography. Genuinely my favorite part of cinematography throughout the entire film was the credit scene. Not like the post-credit or mid-credit scene. The credit scene as in, like, the film ends, and then instead of fading to black or having animatics pop up, it's just New York. It just shows, like, a woman with her dog, and it shows people on a date, and it just shows all these people in New York enjoying their lives, and it really adds a lot to the character of New York City, because in Spider-Man media, like, New York is part of the whole experience. It's not like when Iron Man's in New York, it's like Iron Man lives in New York. When Peter's in New York, it's like New York is a character that is a part of Spider-Man. Like, that is part of what makes him so special, is his relationship to New York, especially his relationship to Queens. And I feel like the Raimi movies did that really well, in just making New York feel like a specific spot that Peter is in, and not just he's in a city, he's in New York. Similarly with, like, the Tim Burton Batman movies, where, like, that Gotham feels like Batman City. It's not just a dark, grimy place with bad guys. It is his city. This movie really, like, pushes that this is Spider-Man's area. This is where he is. And I think that's really neat. And that credit scene of just, like, the names are showing up and directors and cinematographers and actors and everything, and it's just New York. And it's showing you the character that New York is and what it means and why Peter loves being there. And I felt like that was missing a lot from the Home trilogy. I'm not somebody who hates those movies, by the way. A lot of people really, really, really don't like those movies. I think Far From Home is I think Homecoming is a good movie. And I think No Way Home is a good reset point to lead into this. My first time watching Homecoming, I left feeling like, yep, that was a superhero movie in 2017. Like, it was good, but it didn't feel groundbreaking, or it didn't really feel like Spider-Man. Far From Home, I remember leaving and being like, man, they went in the wrong direction here. With No Way Home, I remember leaving optimistic about the future. And with Brand New Day, I left the theater feeling content, feeling happy, feeling excited about the future, and feeling bad that Tom Holland has had such a rough back and forth with his portrayal of this character, because he gets free reign in this movie to just, like, be Peter, and it's fucking beautiful. The opening scene of the film is a montage of Peter taking down some bad guys. Tombstone's in there, Boomerang's in there, Tarantula's in there, Scorpion's in there. I feel like there's a fifth, but I can't remember who it is. And it's done really well. The film uses a lot of, like, frames that are kind of like a homage to different comic book covers, a lot of which people have already pointed out, like Scorpion's tail coming up at Peter, or Tombstone holding him up, him, like, dodging out of the way of Tarantula, Boomerang tossing at him from beneath, him, like, the Amazing Fantasy 15, like, cover. There's a Todd McFarlane cover. There's a lot. It's done really, really well. Just more of, like, the cinematography in this movie being great. I'm trying to think of other, like, visual things before I move on, because I'm trying to do things in, like, sections. What other visuals? The Hulk looks great. This is the best Hulk's ever looked in live action, period. I am a hater of the Edward Norton movie. I think it's horrible. I think it's genuinely the worst MCU movie. It's very, very bad. And I don't really like the way he looks at it. I love how big he is. I like when Hulk's humongous. But I'm not huge on the way he looks. I think Ang Lee's Hulk is second place. And then you get into, like, Avengers and stuff. I think this is the best Hulk has looked. I think it's my favorite way Bruce has looked in the MCU as well. But the Hulk stuff in this is very good, and visually he is very nice to like. He's so humongous. Like, Peter even, like, says, like, I didn't know you got that tall. Because he's back to being huge. Like, overwhelmingly big. And that is a good thing, because Hulk is fucking huge. Instead of looking like Norton's Hulk or early Ruffalo Hulk, he almost looks like they're going in the direction of like the Hickman like run on Avengers, like his like Secret Wars era. It almost looks similar to that version of Hulk. But it's very obviously Ruffalo's Hulk. It's the one from like the way he looks in like Age of Ultron is probably like the closest to where he looks now. But I like it. The green is a lot more like dirty. He kind of looks a little bit towards the gray side of green, and I think that's cool as a little like thing of like, hey, Grey Hulk. Any other visuals? I think Scorpion looks great. That's actually my only complaint with the entire movie. I don't have complaints with this movie. My biggest complaint is I wish Michael Mando as Scorpion was in it more. He has like, I don't know, 10 lines in the movie. He gets like 15 minutes, maybe. Probably less than that. But he is tremendous. Michael Mando is great. If you've never seen Better Call Saul, go watch that. It's the best thing he's done so far. He is so good as Nacho. And seeing him in this, like me and my girlfriend watched Better Call Saul, ended it, and then started catching up on MCU to get ready for Doomsday, because she hasn't seen most of those movies. And I was like, I can't wait for Michael Mando to be in Brand New Day, because we saw the trailers for it. We went and watched it. He's so good. Michael Mando is so good. Please give him a movie where he's the bad guy. He's so good. That's literally my biggest complaint with the movie, is Michael Mando is not in it enough. Visually. Jean Grey's powers look super fucking good. Anytime she does any sort of like thing, it looks good. The hopping between bodies thing looks terrifying. What other looks? Other looks. At the end of the movie, she does like this big propulsion of her powers and everything, and it looks great. Any other visuals? Peter's eyes when he's like man-spidering and they go all black looks really cool. The action in the movie is really good. I'm somebody who, personally, I don't really, like, action is one of the least important parts of a movie to me. I don't care that much. I want it to be good when it's around, but I'm not too interested in it. But, this is the best action in any Spider-Man thing, probably, ever. It's very, very good. If I'm not mistaken, who were the people? I'm getting the answer to that. Hold up. Because I know the director is the same one from Shang-Chi, but I don't know if it's the same, like, choreographer. Was the same choreographer as Shang-Chi. Very, very good stuff. The fights with... The two Scorpion scenes have tremendous action. The fight scene at the beginning with the tank and everything is great. The fight with the hand is genuinely, like, some of the best, the cinematics of the camera work and everything during that fight are tremendous, but also the choreography is tremendous, and it works together to be some of the best fighting of the MCU. I would not put it at the very top. I think Shang-Chi is better, and I think Winter Soldier is better. But this is, like, solid, like, top 5, 3, maybe, like, the good shit. The action is just very good. The action with Hulk is, like, the best, like, choreography that character has gotten since Avengers 1, probably. Very good shit. Also, everybody, like, when the trailers are out, was like, oh, Peter's gonna beat him with the Shocker Fist. That's boring. Oh, God. And he, like, goes for it, like, and then just, like, Hulk just grabs that shit. Cinema. Very good. Peter does not beat Hulk. They don't give him some amp and make him stronger than the Hulk. Hulk gives up on the fight because Peter refers to himself as Hulk's friend. and this leads to Hulk, like, letting go of the thing he's holding on to and falling and not harming people. Which is very good. Very, very good. The drama throughout the movie is really good. I think Homecoming had really good drama and really good suspense, especially with the Vulture stuff. And then, like, Far From Home's drama is No Way Home's drama is interesting, but they don't do a whole lot with it up until the action. This movie's drama is super good. There's a lot of suspense throughout the entire movie of, like, what's going to happen with MJ and what's going to happen with Ned. Is Peter going to reveal his identity to anybody? Is Frank going to figure out who he is? Is Jean going to figure out who he is? And it leads to some very interesting stuff, especially with when Peter has to protect MJ from Jean, but in doing so, she is being controlled by Jean. The two hug, they embrace, they kiss, and then Jean expresses that she's controlling MJ, and she's in MJ's head right now, and there's no memories of Peter. There's nothing up there. And this causes Peter to freak out. This causes Peter to refer to her as a monster. And then they do, like, the famous, like, oh, Gwen Stacy falling thing. He saves her. And then he's begging Jean to stop. Like, he's like, okay, I'm not gonna chase you. We're done. Don't hurt her. He's, like, begging Jean to stop. It's very well done. It's a really good fake out, because when they first kiss and, like, she remembers him and everything, and I'm like, oh, God. That's so boring, though. That's, like, not interesting. Only for, like, the, like, pin drop of, I think it's, what does she say? She says, like, yeah, hold her, Peter. Oh. Just, like, all of that. It's like, that's good drama. Then there's a lot of drama back and forth about the universal inhibitor, which is what Peter's trying to make so that he could, like, stop his powers, but he would also like to have it as a capability to stop Jean's powers so that she stops doing the bad things she's doing and da-da-da-da. It's very, very well done. I think all of the characters that are in the movie, a lot of people have this issue with Peter being around other members of the roster, and I don't personally have that problem. I didn't like when it was all about Iron Man, because it felt very much like, oh, Tony is the big main character, so we're gonna go with Tony for everything, which is kind of boring. In this movie, it feels like a comic book. It doesn't feel like MCU, like, cameo. No, it feels like a comic book, because, like, in comics, characters just kind of do shit. Like I have Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, and there's an issue where Daredevil, Punisher, where Daredevil is the main character, but, like, Punisher's there, Luke Cage is there, Jessica Jones is there, Luke Cage, Iron Fist is there, and Spider-Man's there, and it's like, none of those people are part of his, like, comic, but they're there because that's how comic books work. It felt more like that. Also, like, narratively speaking, all of the characters that are in this, like, all of the characters in this film feel like they fit well. Jean is very much in the same spot Peter is in. She is very much we are going through, like, a very similar thing. You're just doing it in a way that is not as harmful as me. Still harmful to yourself, but not to others. There's a back and forth there. And then with Bruce showing up, it's like, oh, it's because Hulk's marketable and they want to use him in things. It's like, correct. That is why Disney's doing it. But that's not why Destin Cretton is doing it. I don't believe that. Because Bruce is battling a monster inside of himself that he has to keep down and control and not let out, or else people get hurt. Peter is battling a monster inside of himself that he has to hold down and not let out, or people get hurt. And then Peter goes and talks to Bruce about it. He's like, what if I made a universal inhibitor? Could I like, stop all of these things? And Bruce is like, that's an idea that you shouldn't do, because, you know, you could stop anybody's power, and that would not be a good thing, because, like, it's a breach of security. Similarly, he asked Bruce, like, hey, do you think I could get the positives from a power without the negatives? And Bruce is like, that sounds extremely unsafe, and, like, it would cause some serious issues. Maybe don't do that. Because Bruce and Peter are super similar, and that's not just an MCU thing. Bruce Banner and Peter Parker have a lot of similarities throughout comic history. They're both extremely smart, but they're both extremely cursed with the powers that they are given. They're both incredibly full of responsibility, and they both fuck up a lot. And that's part of what makes them so, like, incredibly important to pop culture, is that they mess up all the time. They're not perfect. They're flawed, and that's why they're important. But those two have a lot going on with that. And then people were like, oh, Punisher's here. They just want to have, like, oh, they need to throw him into something. It's like, yes, it is for marketing, but also he's used fantastically. And also, he is not a mirror to Peter in the way that Bruce is, or an amplification of Peter in the way that Jean is, but a gaze into the future of who Peter could become if he continues down the path he's going. Frank is lonely. Frank is angry. Frank is sad. Frank doesn't have anything going on in his life that is a positive at this point. And Peter has all of those same things, but he's in his early 20s, whereas Frank is entering his midlife era, and it's like, that's who I can become, a lonely hermit who hurts people, and that's it. It's like a gaze into the future of who Peter could become. I think all of the characters that are used in this are done fantastically. I think the relationships between Jean and Peter and Bruce and Peter and Frank are just great all across the board. I hope we get to see Peter and Frank interact at least one more time in the future. I'm really hopeful for more Bruce and Peter, and then Hulk and Spidey, or vice versa. I think if Hulk has a relationship with Peter but Bruce doesn't, that could be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see. We're not there yet. I think this movie does a whole lot of setting up for the next saga of the MCU, and that is okay. That is not a problem. Because people treat it like, oh, well, it's being used to set up things. It's like, yeah, but so was Iron Man, and Captain America 1 and 2, and Thor, and the Hulk movie, and Ragnarok, and Guardians. It's like, that's kind of an annoying argument. It's like, yes, it is a giant cinematic universe. No shit, they are going to, like, hint at one another and, like, hint towards the future. I think it's really interesting to have Peter create this universal inhibitor that damage control gets when damage control is so anti-mutant. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when we get to the point of Peter is a friend of the X-Men. He's a friend of mutant kind. And then it's revealed at some point that he created this inhibitor, and then the mutants are unhappy with him. I think that will be very interesting if and when that happens. But it adds another one of those situations that Peter fucks up all the time. Like most Spider-Man villains in comic books and in a lot of the movies are made because of a Peter mistake, because of a Peter mess up, because of a Peter mishap. So, like, you know, it's not like that's new. I think it's very, very interesting. I think the main antagonist of the film, Jean Grey, is done tremendously, played just beautifully by Sadie Sink, who is a tremendous actor. Sadie brings a whole lot of angst and rebellion and sadness to this character, who makes a lot of mistakes. And a lot of people treat it as if the things that Jean does in this movie are completely unforgivable, and that she's a terrible person who can never be the character that she is in the comics or whatever. And it's like, sure, but, like, she's the Dark Phoenix, you know? Like, she's gonna become this giant, like, Avengers level, X-Men level, Fantastic Four level threat. But if she's like a goody two-shoes and then she does that, it feels weird. If she's already angsty and she's already done bad things and then she slowly gets drifted in the direction of becoming the Dark Phoenix and everything, it's like, I think that's more interesting. Especially with the way it feels is that she's being used as a much younger character than the way, like, the Fox movies used her. And I think the idea of her being just this angsty teen, this rambunctious person who doesn't know how to get what she wants, but she knows what she wants. is interesting, and it leads into that Dark Phoenix stuff pretty well. I'm very interested to see what they do with the rest of the X-Men based off of her performance. At the end of the movie, you can see her on a bus going to upstate New York, and famously, upstate New York has... Well, I can't think of any jokes. The X-Mansion. Charles Xavier's up there, theoretically. But that's done really well. I think her backstory with her sister Sarah and everything is done pretty well. They don't go, Jean's never done anything bad, feel bad for her because she's just a child. They go, she made mistakes, she has done very bad things, here is her reasons behind that, here is what she wanted out of it. Was that worth it? And I think she needs to, like, repent and, like, get to a point that's better for her and for everybody around her. But, like, she's not the first person to do bad things and then be a superhero, you know? Like, on the very low end, Iron Man and Doctor Strange, assholes. Not that Tony didn't do terrible things like the nukes and what have you, but, like, they're both assholes who then become heroes, right? Similarly, the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Yelena, the Red Guardian, Wanda, it's like all of them were terrible individuals who, like, killed and stole and da-da-da-da-da, and then they become heroes. Wanda is one of the most, like, positively spoken about MCU characters, and she started out as a person that severely wanted to kill Tony Stark, who is the main character of the MCU for the first decade. It's like, you know, I feel like it's a weird argument to be like, she can never be a hero because she did a bad thing. It's like, what about Wanda and, you know, the rest of them who did shitty things? I don't know. That's my opinion. Hello, kitty. So, I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Sorry, my computer's freaking out. Peter's relationship with MJ in this movie is extremely enjoyable because there's a scene where he goes to fight with Jean, leads to the Hulk fight and everything, but then he comes back to Frank Castle's like home where he has been protecting MJ, and she found the letter that he had written for her at the end of No Way Home. And she read it, and she's hurt that he wouldn't come talk to her about it, and everything, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This leads to him revealing his identity to her, and her expressing that not only does she not love him, but she doesn't know him. There's not memories. I'm sure she loved you, but she's not here. Oof. And it's done in a way that is harmful. It's done in a way that hurts. It's done in a way that's sad, but it's not done in a way that feels like Marvel. A lot of times in comics, bad things happen to Spider-Man because it's the status quo that Spider-Man's life sucks, and he can't have any positivity. This film has a lot of Spider-Man's life sucks. Peter Parker's life sucks. But it never feels like it sucks just to suck. It feels like it matters. It feels like narratively it, like, fits. And especially with the MJ stuff, it feels like a good learning point for Peter. Of, like, to be much more safe with himself and with those around him. Because if he didn't trust Mysterio, none of this would have happened. May would be around. Strange would know who he is. All of his friends would know who he is, and that's it. But he made a mistake, and Peter Parker fucks up. We all do. He's like us. And I feel like MJ's statement of, I don't know you, leading into all of that for Peter, gives him closure in a way that isn't her death, and in a way that isn't those two getting back together. And I'm hopeful that they don't get back together in the MCU. I still think in the comics, Mary Jane and Peter should end up together in 616. I don't know why the fuck that hasn't been fixed. But I think in the movies it would be better if he was able to slowly move on from that. Because it feels like we're going to be rehashing the Mary Jane and Peter thing, even though it's Michelle Jones. And I don't like the idea of doing that. I really like what it does with them after that scene as well, where they're just friends. In the Spider-Man suit, he's talking with Ned and he's talking with Michelle, and it's just back and forth, and it's friendly, and it doesn't feel awkward or forced or like it's going to lead to anything other than just them being friends. And I think it's done just tremendously. I'm very, very excited to see what they do with Peter's life going forward in those aspects, but also outside of that. During that scene, something that feels very, 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 very Peter Parker is he apologizes to MJ for kissing her when Jean was controlling her, because he thinks it's wrong, because Peter Parker's a good boy, goddammit. So he apologizes for that, even though technically he didn't do anything wrong, but because he thinks it's the right thing to do, because Peter's a good boy. And I think that was done very well. But this leads to... It's played as almost a joke, but it's done very seriously in a way that feels very in character. But it leads to Peter realizing that the leader of Damage Control has lied to him. So he then goes to handle that, which leads to the fight with the Hand, and it leads to a lot of the best quips of Peter. Side tangent. Peter's quips in this movie are the best that live-action Spider-Man's ever had. He's so quippy, he's so funny. I think let's end this on a high note before nailing Scorpion with a fucking piano is probably the funniest thing I've ever heard Spider-Man say. It was very good. He makes fun of some security guards for not stretching and calls them old. It's very fun. But it leads to the tremendous final fight with the Hand, and then a tremendous final bout that is not a fight with Jean. Shortly before this, we get a scene where Jean is in a room, pretty much being tortured. And the whole time she's been chasing this MacGuffin, this super weapon, this idea, this thing called VMAX. She doesn't know what it is, but she's been chasing it. Peter figures out she's chasing VMAX, and he has no idea what it means. He asks the director of Damage Control, and he says he doesn't know what it means. And everyone thinks he's lying. Well, as she's sat in this chair, being tortured, she looks up, and she sees a vent with the label VentMax, but the ENT has been peeled off. And the thing that her sister had yelled to her through her mind, VMAX, was not a MacGuffin, was not a super weapon, was not some contract, was nothing special. It was the last thing she saw before she died as she looked up into that vent. And it's gross. It's dirty. It feels really gritty. It feels like a late 90s, early 2000s, grayscale comic book. And it hurts. And then Sadie Sink has some beautiful delivery as she screams about how this was the last thing her sister saw. And it's done beautifully. And it makes it where the director of Damage Control did not lie about not knowing what VMAX is. He didn't know what it is. Why would he? All he did was torture a little girl. And it's fucking disgusting. Early on in the movie, there is a bit where we see into Peter's mind, and we see him in the Stark suit, the red, blue, and black highlight suit, talking with Aunt May, and then it gets cut off. Later, we see it start again, and she goes into it a little bit, and then it's cut off. And then, toward the end, Peter allows Jean into his mind. And Jean gets a stern talking to from Aunt May in Peter's mind that calms her down enough for Peter to have the ability to conversate with her one-on-one. And it leads to probably the most beautiful Spider-Man scene we've ever had in a live-action movie. It feels very similar to in the Justice League animated series. I want to say it was Justice League, when Batman has to help Oh, what's her name? No. I'm gonna figure this out. The girl's name is Ace. It is in the Justice League animated series. In the episode epilogue, he holds her hand as she realizes what's gonna happen to her and everything, and she's very scared. And Batman sits and holds her hand, and it's like, for me, it's like that's what Batman's about. Is that sort of thing of being able to care and be genuine and understand somebody who's hurting. And that's sort of where this movie goes with Peter and Jean, is like, it feels so Spider-Man. It doesn't feel Iron Man, it doesn't feel Thor, it doesn't feel Captain America. It very specifically feels Spider-Man. And not Peter Parker, not Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And it's fucking just beautiful. There's an ad. I apologize for the muting of the Spider-Man music for my backdrop. Specifically, there's a part where Peter expresses that everybody, like, has the ability to do good, to be good. And this leads to Jean saying that she has nothing. She has no one. And because VMAX doesn't mean anything, not only does she not have anything, but she doesn't have anything to get from losing everything. To which Peter just softly says, "You have me." Which is the most Spider-Man shit ever. It's beautiful. And as they both calm down, Frank Castle takes a sniper shot at Jean, and Peter gets in the way. And he just sits there, and he doesn't cry, he doesn't scream, he doesn't wince. He asks if she's okay, he falls to the ground, and then he tells her to leave. Then we get the best part of the movie. The single best part of the fucking movie is Peter is in the hospital, and he wakes up, and the only person in the room is Frank Castle, the Punisher, sitting, waiting by his bedside, taking care of him. Peter freaks out that he doesn't have a mask on, and Frank expresses that it's okay, he's okay, nobody messed with you, your suit got destroyed because the doctors needed to get to your body, but you are okay. No one's been in here, no one's been messing with you, I've had you, you're okay. And Peter looks to his right, and there's all sorts of gifts from people for Spider-Man. And specifically, the one that his eyes go to is a drawing that MJ did of Peter and Ned. And then Peter and Frank have a short talk, where Frank cries, and Peter's like, "I can't believe I saw you cry." "I didn't cry, man. Let me tell you something, kid." And the scene with him in the hospital bed is my favorite part of the movie, because it's just him and Frank being genuine. Right after Peter pretty much sacrifices himself to save the person he's been chasing this whole movie, him and Frank sitting there and being genuine. And then Frank's idea so that Peter can leave is Peter is going to leave and walk out of the hospital, and Frank's going to stay in the hospital, in the room, and have the Spider-Man mask on and get the attention of the crowd. It's very cute. It's very silly. It's very comic booky. And it's done very, very well. And then Jean DeWolf, who I think is genuinely maybe my favorite new supporting character that Spider-Man's had in a movie ever. Because, like, Spider-Man 1, I think that version of Aunt May is probably my favorite Spider-Man supporting character ever. And then, like, when I say added, I mean a supporting character that isn't from the first movie. So, like, not from Homecoming, not from TASM 1, not from Spider-Man 1. I think Jean DeWolf is my favorite added character. She's so goddamn... She's perfectly acted. I love, like, her relationship with Spider-Man. Just adore it. I really hope she's in the next 1 or 2 or 3 or however many more movies Tom does. I think she's fucking tremendous. But she talks with Spider-Man throughout the movie about how he needs to take care of himself and everything, and da-da-da-da, and he keeps turning that down, and not wanting to do that, and it's all about work, and it's all about work, and it's all about work. And at the end of the movie, there's a small bank robbery, and she tells him to chill. We can handle it. It's literally our job. Go rest. And then he doesn't go diving into the fighting. He doesn't go diving into his suit. He goes to the shop that he buys flowers for Aunt May at. And he goes in there, and he sees Ned, who he's seen in there before. But he doesn't just leave. He doesn't ignore Ned. He goes up to him, and he does their handshake from the other movies. And then Ned says, "Peter?" Movie ends. I think there's a lot of ways you can read that scene. Personally, I think it's him realizing that Peter is Spider-Man, because earlier in the film, MJ refers to Spider-Man as Peter. I don't think it's him getting his memories back. I think it'd be a little weird if they did for him, but not for MJ. I don't want MJ to have hers back, so I don't want Ned to have his back. But I really like the idea of that muscle memory of that handshake alongside him, like, recognizing the facial structure and whatnot from the party earlier, and the voice and everything. He called himself Peter. Him figuring out it's Spider-Man. And it's great. Ned's so fucking adorable in this movie, by the way. In Homecoming and Far From Home, he kind of just felt like an off-brand version of Genki. And then in No Way Home, I really liked him. In this movie, he's fucking adorable. I love him. Jacob Batalon is so good as Ned. It's never been an issue of him. It's just been like they gave Peter Genki, basically, because they couldn't use Harry at the time or whatever. But I think it's done so well. I love Ned in this movie. He's so fucking cute. And his relationship with MJ is so, like, sweet and caring and whatnot. And it feels so genuine, as opposed to them just both being Peter's friends and not seeing a whole lot of them back and forth on only each other. I think this movie makes those two adorable. And then we get the beautiful credit scene of just New York City being just fucking gorgeous. Dustin Daniel Cretton, beautiful fucking movie you made, dear sir. And then the post-credit scene being the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, which Ned has created, that tracks Spidey. Tracking a spider signature way out in space. Probably Secret Wars, if I had to guess. I don't want to guess too much as to what the fuck that means. It's probably just Secret Wars. A lot of people are saying it's Tobey Maguire. I don't care. I don't care if it's Tobey or Andrew or if it's Tom. I don't fucking care. Because this movie made me so happy that whatever the fuck that is unimportant to me. This movie was so goddamn good. I think the only important thing I left out is that Yelena is in the movie, and she's fucking adorable. I love her. Small potato. I've seen your belly button. I love her. I think that's the only thing I left out that's too hefty. I love this movie. It is... I rewatched Spider-Man 1, 2, 3. I rewatched TASM. I rewatched TASM 2. I rewatched Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. I watched all the Spider-Man movies before this one. I like this one the most. I like Brand New Day a lot. So much so that I got this fucking dope Brand New Day blanket while I was in the theater. I had so much fun watching this fucking movie. There's a cat currently. Is the only reason I'm not picking the blanket up is because there's a baby sleeping. I love this fucking movie. Genuinely, like it. I have in my head, I have, like, where all the MCU movies are in order, like, how good they are. This one messed my list up. This one fucked with my list kind of crazy. Maybe at some point I'll make that, like, a video of, like, how I rank all them. This movie's so goddamn good. Please let the guy who directed this movie, Dustin, keep him. Make him direct all of them. The choreographer, keep him. The cinematographer, keep him. The makeup artist and everything, keep all of them. Keep everybody who made this movie. This movie is so goddamn good. Personally, if I got to go, hey, people making that movie, here's what you're doing. I would say, Spider-Man 5, Scorpion. Make it Scorpion. I want Peter in the black suit after Secret Wars. I want Scorpion as the main bad guy. I want Tombstone as the secondary bad guy. Dope. Cool. Jump forward, Spider-Man 6. Peter loses the symbiote. It goes to Scorpion, Matt Gargan Venom. Boom. Also introduce Black Cat. Maybe. We haven't gotten her really in a live-action movie. I mean, Felicia is in TASM, but like, I don't really know. I don't want to give myself too many like ideas because I love the direction this series is going. I think this is the best acted Spider-Man ever. I think he surpassed Andrew with this film. With me, it was always like, Tobey's really comic booky and I love him, but I don't think he's better than Andrew at acting. And then Andrew's great. I like Tom more, but Tom isn't getting given a whole lot. No Way Home Habit, I was like, ooh, Tom's really fucking good. This movie made Tom, like, the top of the list for me is Josh Keaton, Yuri Lowenthal, Tom Holland. Easy for me. Like, there's no ifs, no ands, no. Those are the three for me. His acting in this movie is fucking beautiful. I think he's great. I think he looks great. I loved this movie. I love the direction it's going. I am so excited for the future of this series. Also, it is making so much goddamn money. This cat is so goddamn cute. But thank you guys so much. I love you. I appreciate you all. There will be another upload on Friday. So, stick around. I love you. In the description, there is a link to a Discord. There is a link to a Tiltify link because we're doing Wishmas, which is Jacksepticeye's Pigmas this year. So if you're interested in donating to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, there's a Tiltify link down there as well. So thank you guys so much for your time, for your efforts, for your supports, for any comments, likes, all that. I love you, and I'll see you later this week. Bye-bye.